let's dive into the absolute fastest way to get a powerful Jenkins automation server up and running. We're going to do this without any of the usual headaches or complicated installs, focusing on getting you from zero to hero in no time.
So picture this. You need a Jenkins server. Maybe it's for a new project. Maybe you're just trying to learn the ropes. You know it's a beast when it comes to automation. But man, you've also heard about the pain of installing and configuring big server software.
But what if you could just skip all of that? What if you could have a fully functional Jenkins instance ready to go in just a couple of minutes? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do, and the secret sauce here is Docker.
Okay, so our goal is super simple. We're going to run Jenkins inside a Docker container. Let's break down why this is such a game changer, especially when you just need to get things done.
See, using Docker means we get to package Jenkins and everything it needs into this neat, tidy, isolated box called a container. This is awesome because it totally avoids conflicts with other software on your machine. It guarantees that it'll work the exact same way on your laptop as it does on a big production server, and best of all, it launches in literal seconds.
Now for the fun part. We're going to build the single command that brings our Jenkins server to life. I know, it might look a little long at first glance, but don't worry, we're going to break it down into 4 really simple, understandable parts.
Every little piece of this command has a very specific job. First, we're just telling Docker, hey, run a container. Then, we'll tell it exactly which version of Jenkins to use. That's the image. After that, we need to open up the communication lines, which we do with ports. And finally, the most important part, we're going to make sure our data is safe and sound with a volume. Let's take them one by one.
First things first, the image. Now, this is crucial. You want to use Jenkins/Jenkins LTS. This is the official one, maintained by the Jenkins community. You might stumble upon an older, deprecated one out there, but this is the one you want. That LTS on the end stands for long-term support, which is exactly what you need.
Okay, next, we got to connect the ports. We map port 8080 on our machine to port 8080 inside the container. That's how we'll access the Jenkins web dashboard from our browser. We also map port 50,000. Now, you might not need this one right away, but it's super important for more advanced setups where you connect other machines or agents to help with the build workload.
And now, for arguably the most critical part of this whole command, the volume. What this does is connect a special folder on our own machine, which we're calling Jenkins Home, directly to the folder inside the container where Jenkins stores all of its precious data.
And you might be thinking, okay, but why is this so critical? Can I just skip this part? The answer is absolutely not, and let me show you exactly why.
It all comes down to one concept: data persistency. See, without a volume, all of your configurations, your downloaded plugins, the users you create, and all of your build history would be completely wiped out the second you stop or remove that container. A volume makes sure all your hard work is saved safely on your machine, totally independent of the container itself.
So you put all those pieces together, and this is what you get. This is the whole shebang. You can literally copy this one line, paste it into your terminal, hit enter, and Docker just takes care of the rest, spinning up your Jenkins server quietly in the background.
Okay, the command is running, Jenkins is starting up. Now, this is just a really quick one-time setup process to unlock your server and get it ready for action.
For security, Jenkins locks itself down on the very first startup and spits out a temporary password. To get it, you just need to peek at the logs of the container you just created. Just run docker ps to get the container's ID, and then docker logs with that ID to see what's going on inside.
When you check those logs, you're going to be looking for a block of text that looks kind of like this. Buried inside all the startup messages will be this initial admin password. Just find that long jumble of letters and numbers and copy it. From here on out, it is smooth sailing. It's a simple 3-step wizard. Open up your web browser and go to localhost 8080. First, you'll paste that password you just copied to unlock the gates. Second, just click Install Suggested Plugins. Trust me, it gives you a fantastic toolkit to start with. And finally, you'll create your own permanent admin user. And that's it, you're in.
Once you're through the wizard, you'll land right here, on the main Jenkins dashboard. This is mission control for all of your automation. Let's take a quick look around.
Now, when you go to create your first job, you're mainly going to choose between a freestyle project and a pipeline. Think of it like this. A freestyle project is perfect for a simple, single task, like, hey, just run my tests. But the pipeline, that's where the real magic is. It lets you define your entire software delivery process, from building and testing all the way to packaging and deploying your code all automatically. To get started, you'll pretty much live in 3 main areas:
Over on the left, New Item is, you guessed it, where you create new automation jobs. Manage Jenkins is your admin control panel for everything from adding plugins to managing security. And the build queue shows you what jobs are running right now or waiting in line.
And just like that, in only a few minutes, you have a complete, persistent, and seriously powerful Jenkins server running, just waiting to start automating your projects.
So there you have it. The server is live, it's ready, it's waiting for your command. The only question left is, what's that first complex, tedious, or repetitive task that you're going to teach it to do for you?
Right, today we're going to tackle something that sounds kind of complicated, but is actually, believe it or not, super simple. We are going to set up a full-featured Jenkins automation server. And the best part, we're going to have it up and running on your machine in under 5 minutes, all thanks to the magic of Docker. Let's get right into it. You know the feeling, right? If you've ever tried to set up a big server tool like Jenkins from scratch, you know the drill. You're wrestling with Java versions, all these weird system dependencies, and messy configuration files. It's a huge headache before you even write a single line of code. But what if you could just skip all that? Well, that's exactly where Docker comes in. It gives us the perfect, clean, totally isolated little box for Jenkins to live in. Seriously, this combo is an absolute game changer for getting up and running fast and without any of the usual fuss. Yeah, this side pretty much says it all. You look at the traditional way on the left, and you're just tangled up in a web of dependencies that can mess with your whole system. But the Docker way, over on the right, it packages up everything, and I mean everything, that Jenkins needs into one neat, self-contained little container. It's isolated, it's repeatable, and most importantly, it is so fast. So how do we actually do this? Well, it all comes down to a single command. That's it. I'm not kidding. One line that you're going to type into your terminal is going to do all of the heavy lifting for us. Let's break it down. First things first, and this is really important, you've got to use the right Docker image. You might see an old one out there just called Jenkins. Don't use it. It's deprecated. Instead, we are using Jenkins CI/Blue Ocean. This is the modern community-maintained image, and it guarantees you get a recent version of Jenkins with all the plugin compatibility you're going to need. And here it is. This one line is our key to everything. Now, I know it might look a little intimidating at first glance, but trust me, every single piece of this has a very specific and very important job. Let's walk through it together, piece by piece. Okay, so let's slice this up. The D flag, that just tells Docker to run the container in the background, so you get your terminal back. The first P maps port 8080 on your machine to port 8080 inside the container. That's how we'll get to the Jenkins web interface. The second P opens up port 50,000. Now, you might not need this right away, but it's for connecting other machines or agents to help with big build jobs down the line. And finally, that V flag, oh, this one is maybe the most important part of the whole command. So what is a volume? The absolute best way to think about it is like a USB hard drive for your container. See, containers are designed to be disposable. You can delete them and create new ones easily. But your data, your configurations, your plugins, your job history, that's precious. This volume, which we named Jenkins Home, makes sure all that stuff is saved outside the container. So if you ever stop it, restart it, or even delete it and make a new one, all your work is still there, safe and sound. Okay, so you've run the command, Docker has pulled down the image, and the container is happily running in the background. Now we've just got a few quick steps to actually unlock our brand new Jenkins instance and get inside. Here's the 5-step launch sequence. It's super easy. First, just run docker ps to see you're running containers and find its ID. Second, you'll use docker logs with that ID to see all the startup messages. For security, Jenkins spits out a one-time admin password right in there. Third, you'll copy that long password, go to localhost 8080 in your browser, and paste it in. Fourth, Jenkins will ask about plugins. Just click Install Suggested Plugins. It's a great starting point. And finally, step 5, you create your own permanent admin account. And just like that, you're in. That is literally it. You have a fully functional, modern Jenkins server running right on your machine. Welcome to your new automation dashboard. Pretty cool, huh? Now that we're inside, let's take a quick look around. I just want to point out the most important things you're going to see on day 1. So, when you go to create your very first job, you'll see 2 main options right away: freestyle and pipeline. Think of it like this. A freestyle project is like a simple one-off script. It's great for a single task, like running a quick test. A pipeline, on the other hand, is the real deal. It's the modern way to do things, a complete workflow defined as code, handling everything from building your app to testing it all the way to deployment. For any serious automation, pipeline is where it's at. Jenkins is so powerful because it's incredibly customizable, and that's all thanks to its plugin system. Just head over to Manage Jenkins and then Manage Plugins. The Available tab is basically an app store for any feature you can possibly imagine. The Installed tab shows you what you already have. You have complete control to add, remove, or update your tools anytime you want. So there you have it, a powerful enterprise-grade automation engine set up in just a few minutes, ready and waiting for your commands. The only question left is the most exciting one of all. What are you going to build first?